Right now, what we have, that's the most important thing that's on the table, is we have an opportunity for Devin, as the youngest world champion in boxing, to go up against Gary Russell, the longest reigning champion in boxing,
Yes,
which will
sir.
be a hell of a extravaganza. That's what kind of all this stuff is about. Devin's been grinding a long time. He's the youngest champion and the youngest promoter in boxing. So when you get it from him, you're getting it 100% out of the horse's mouth. I'm a president of his company. I work for the company that he owns, that he's the CEO of. Yeah, and I appreciate. And
So,
listen, I appreciate you having us on here. At especially a hot time that's going on. I want to make sure that
sure.
everyone understand. You know, am I cooking too much? Did I start cooking too fast?
Hey, my man, hey, start cooking because that's what we here for. I dropped a video yesterday and I broke it down to where a second grader knew what took place.
Right.
However, they still want to put the blame on Devin. So that's why, I wanted to get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Let me tell you. So when he mentioned Devin's name, I reached out. Then I reached out to Gary to see if Gary would, if it could be a realistic possibility for them to fight. Now this was behind closed doors, and when I
Right.
reached out to him behind closed doors, he told me amount that he wanted for the fight and to reach at to ask Eddie. I called Eddie, and Eddie and them said they're not interested. So I never called Gary back because they weren't interested. That I could ever say, I could ever, I mean, I can't drum something out of nothing. So if they say
And
they're
that
not
number,
interested,
just to add on to that number, it was way more than 1.5 million. I know you don't want to reveal the number, but it was way more than 1.5 million, right? And it
yeah.
was
Well,
before the
no,
pandemic.
if it was a dollar more than 1.5, it was his business, and he didn't
Okay.
want me to
Right.
divulge his business, so I
Okay.
kept it. I kept it private. So
Respect.
the only thing that what happened was, um, Gary Russell being the longest reigning champion in boxing, we're offering the show to Al, and Al presented because, remind you, we had already talked to Eddie about it, and Eddie wasn't interested in it. This is before the pandemic. This
Okay.
is
Thank you for
pandemic.
clarifying that.
This is when Luke Campbell is available, Ryan Garcia is available, right? They haven't even announced these fights.
That's good you informed the public that because a lot of people said the zone rejected the fight, the zone rejected the fight. But that was before the pandemic
Yeah,
when Gary Russell first threw out the number. That's not now. Yeah,
Luke Campbell. That was before Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia was ordered to fight. That was before um, Javier Fortuna was still over there. That was before Javier Fortuna and Linares got ordered to fight. It was before that. So,
gotcha, gotcha.
so Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and the Zone was looking for a different kind of an opponent. They were looking for Luke Campbell, Brian Garcia, um, yeah, and
Which makes
I,
sense.
huh?
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense for them to look for those type of fights.
But which I gave all respect to Gary in the very beginning because I thought that it would be a good fight from the very beginning. I was on it, and then
Yeah.
even when Matchroom didn't say it was, I said, well, let's see if Al has an interest in it. Then I just go back and I'll tell Eddie that Al is interested in it because Eddie has never ever said that Devin, you know what I'm saying, couldn't go to another network if the fight and everything was right. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
right, it's just that when you have a brand and you have people that are involved and they're supporting your brand, of course they don't want you to go and just do no BS, like just go do I don't know. We have
A
a
one
video.
off fighting nobody. Yeah. But if you're gonna go do a one off find somebody, it's
Yeah, fight,
okay.
yeah, fight somebody good. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
you're a partner, like bring something to the table. So on either side, whether it be on the matchroom side or on the DHP side, bring something to the table of significance. And I think we've been doing a good job doing that thus far. And I always say I've not gotten a memo from Matchroom or DAZN about not dealing with new media or like. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a new
Right.
wave, but I do believe because um, we love Dante's Boxing Nation. Dante, man,
That's my key. That's my key, man.
Dante is,
Yes, sir.
Dante is the one that Shakur, the infamous sparring with Devin and Shakur. I mean,
Yeah,
like 5 years ago. So I watched Dante evolve until the channel that he is, that he has now.
sir.
We
Now he
we
got hotels overseas.
yeah, we love it when everyone recognizes it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We love it. You know what I'm saying? When old media embraces it. You know what I'm saying? We love it when the world embraces the Gary Russell fight.
So take me back to the Al Heyman. So Al Heyman wasn't interested, according to Gary.
According to Gary, yeah, he wasn't interested. He wasn't interested. So by Matchroom, that's what I said. Matchroom, remember, Matchroom is not interested at this point. Al Heyman is not interested in this point. We're on the LDBC channel, right?
I got you.
We're talking about it, and we're making the fight. Now, I just said that if at the great Al Heyman, who had the Budweiser Superfest since I was a kid, since I'm like, I couldn't even get into an Al Heyman concert. You dig what I'm saying? On my dad on the radio over and over and
Right.
over again. I wasn't even young enough to be there, so I know he puts on the biggest events here in America and for our people. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that for a fact, right? We offered I offered it to him to take it and present it to the world in the best way, shape, forward. Give us the offer, do the shit. Gary came back on and said, Bill, you do it. So you do it, Eddie and them do it, and thus far, that's where we are right now in the
That's
negotiation. It's not
that's
on
what.
part, it's not on our part, it's on Gary. Not
Yeah. So first of all, let me take you back to when Gary was like he requested the 1.5 million. He said, you know what? I'll take the 1.5. Send me the contract. And that's exactly what you guys did. Then he had another demand. He said, no stipulation in the contract. So again, that's exactly what y'all did. Y'all removed the stipulation when it came to rematch clause being on DAZN, so on and so forth. Then Gary Russell was like, you know what? The fight is on. Get Floyd Mayweather to train you, all that. And the next day on Friday, he said that he pretty much turning down the fight because the zone and matchroom was imprinted on the contract. So, what do you have to say when it came to that?
actually that it was the zone and matchroom is on their paperwork that was sent over. That was never a case that they weren't on there, and we're just waiting on him to sign and send it back. That's it. We are still to this day waiting on Mr. Gary Russell. He has not denied that he was going to do the fight. We're just waiting. You know what I'm saying? That's all
So
we
he
can do.
so he haven't turned it down completely.
No, he ain't turning it
Okay.
down, and we're not going to let him turn it down because we're gonna keep every that calls me every day, every morning. Is it signed? Is he ready? Is it going? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Devin
So
want the smoke,
yeah,
man. Devin want that
yeah,
smoke.
and that's the thing about him being a promoter and him
Yeah.
having a situation, a co-promotional. He can do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He can put his
Yes, sir.
head on the chopping block at any given time. But me, I got respect for the Russell family. I got respect like that as a business part. It's just certain shit that you don't do because we put a lot of money into Devin, the brand, and all the stuff. And to take a chance this early, it's Devin. It's not me. Of course,
Right.
coach, somebody said, B, what are you fuck you doing? Why are you doing it? You're not doing business the way it's supposed. I know how to do business. It's Devin. It's Devin that want to fight. It's
Yes,
them, the
sir.
two fighters keep talking. The fighters won't stop talking, and the people want to fight. So what can we do now but make the fight? So I send over
And
everything. But when they come back, not to cut you off, but when they come back and they say it's not me, that's when y'all see my face. When you see it's not DHP doing it, that's when you guys see my face. Other than that, then you won't see my face because you see the fighter is saying that he want to fight. The other fighter is saying that he want to fight. Then let's make the fight. Hung up because one is ducking or one the business ain't right. Then you'll see me show up, right?
yes, sir.
No one should be getting on. No one should get on the fans No one should get on the families. No one should get on nothing. It's the fighters. We don't have no war between media and no. It's two brothers. It's two brothers, and they just need to get in the ring. But I'll tell you one thing is it will, if it does happen, it will be the biggest extravaganza in boxing this year. It will be the most competitive fight this year. It will be a fight against the longest reigning champion in boxing that has dominated and put fear in people's hearts by just who he is, against the youngest champion in boxing, who's intimidating by. And now one thing's for certain and two things for sure. Gary Russell is a great fighter.
Right.
He's a great fighter.
Yes, sir.
But it's something special about Devin. So now we have a great fighter coming up against what we consider the next face of boxing, the next superstar in boxing, right? It's something special about him.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's what we have. And we don't make no mistakes about it. We know that what we got and what we need to do, but we need to do it, man. We got to keep pushing on.
Gary Russell criticized Devin for wanting to fight Gamboa. So what Devin did, he turned around and he's forcing you to make the Gary Russell fight at all costs. Now, you guys gave Gary Russell every single demand he requested, right? Everything he requested on IG, y'all delivered it, from the 1.5 million, like I stated before, to no stipulation. So what's stopping him from signing the contract? Because we only one signature away.
We sent over a DHP pen and said, you just write it. If it ain't a pen, just please sign. Please sign, Russell.
So can you clarify that the DAZN have money? Because they keep saying that the DAZN don't have money. If the DAZN have money for Gamboa, wouldn't they have money for Gary Russell?
Okay, listen. The thing that I want to clarify about that is everything that we did was pre-pandemic. So what ended up happening while we were on the LDBC channel and we were going back and forth about the fight and about the 1.5 million, right? Then DAZN chimed in and said, fight is on, fire emoji.
Thank you. They're interested in the fight.
Then they was interested in the fight. So soon as they said that they was interested in the fight, then Gary said, Al is interested in the fight. I said, oh, well, man, if Al is interested in the fight, then go ahead then and just send us the shit, because we are not going to get into nothing with the great Al Hammond. I don't care what for what fight anybody is talking about, where the fight ain't going to happen in there, because we're not getting into it with Al, and we're not saying nothing bad about Al. Shit.
So you want it on either side. Like I said, you guys don't care.
No. We already said that first. Then we end up going and getting the money and getting the date and getting everything in line. And then he says, well, Al didn't call us and say that. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. I don't believe that Al is interested, because Al, nobody talks for Al. Nobody talks for Al. Al's actions speak as far as I could see. I don't know. See somebody, Al said do this, Al said that. It just moves. Al is that good. If he wants this, all this, how he gonna move all the pieces and do all the shit together, man. Don't come. I don't want the people to come and act like that we wouldn't want Al, or we wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole thing, is bridging the promoters and bringing the world together to make this event happen.
If Al wants to fight, he will put it together like puzzle. We know Al run boxing. He got 80% of the fighters. So if Al wanted, he would have made the fight happen. But according to Gary himself, like I said before, he said this out of his own mouth. He said, you guys, the champion, you make the offer, because I'm challenging Devin Haney for his title. So for him now to say Al is interested, that's contradicting yourself. Also, Gary Russell already agreed to fight Devin Haney on DAZN. So he shouldn't retract his statements by saying, oh, well, Al wants to fight. That don't make sense to me. Gary Russell, he breaking our heart, because this is a hell of a fight. And, I always had Gary Russell back, but I got to call a spade a spade. And it seemed like he's trying to find a way out.
I hope not, man. I swear to God, I hope not.
Gary Russell, he stated that the names DAZN and MatchRoom is not on the time sheet.
Well, no, the initial concern he said was the one concern was that he didn't know if DAZN or MatchRoom was on board with it. We already clarified that, and we took care of all that behind closed doors. They said on the on one of the other previous shows that everything is already taken care of. We're just waiting on them. We're just waiting on the signal.
And just to add on to that, Eddie Hearn already came out and said 2 names that DAZN is looking at for Devin Haney next fight is Gamboa and also Gary Russell. So DAZN is on board. Matchroom is on board. Eddie Hearn is on board. Everybody is on board. So we just want Gary to sign the contract with DH Pin. That's all we waiting on.
That's right.
So I want you to take me back because you had a conversation with Gary Russell where you were asking him the $1 million question. You got everything you requested on live on that timesheet, everything from the 1.5 to no stipulation. And he said, yeah, well, there's a couple things that I didn't like. And then he pretty much disappeared out of the chat with you. I don't know what happened. So can you take me back to that moment and tell me what happened?
Well, we were on the phone and we were talking, you know what I'm saying? And we were discussing some things, and he got out the car and then didn't come phone.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
We were assuming he went to grab the contract and sign it on the chat, on the live.
We haven't seen G since.
At the end of the day, or at least the night, one thing for sure, Devin Haney won it, because I talked to him yesterday and he told me he want this fight bad. And he told me he pushing for the fight because this is one fight he wants so bad because the fans want it. So he want to give the fans a hell of a fight. So I got to, because I told you before, respect is earned, not given. And I know you an OG in the game. However, you call Devin a youngin, but Devin have OG respect points because he's earning respect. He demanded respect. And I got to give him his props.
Well, I'm saying this. Devin is going to beat the fuck out of Gary. He's going to beat his ass, but it ain't going to be easy. He's going to have to go in there and do some things. Gary ain't no easy out. It's just the Devin special. We've seen that he just got to be given the opportunity and then the world will see. But it's not easy. I'm not going to just say, or anybody, the next youngster, go try to do the same thing that Devin is doing and saying. Dude is a great fighter, man.
Yeah, he's a great fighter, a hell of a fighter.
He's a great fighter.
But Devin is special as well.
He's special. That's all. That's all. And if Gary dominated for 10 years and he kicked in the door, and the Russells dominated for 10 years, they're kicking in the door for their brothers, but they also kicked in the door for their brother in Devin Haney, their brother in BH the Great. They dominated. They dominated to the point that the people didn't know how dominant they were. Things have evolved. Man has evolved. We're dominating, and we have brothers like you. We have the LDBC. We got Dante. We got Ego. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got brothers, and we're able to showcase and show behind the scenes of why you might not see him. Why you see he's dominant, he's passed the eye test, but why isn't he in there with the guys that you think are great?
It takes two to rumble. It takes two to rumble.
It takes two to rumble.
Yeah. You can't force nobody to fight. That's one thing for sure. But I know Devin want to fight. Like I said, I spoke to the brother personally, and he told me how bad he wanted. Like I said before, Gary Russell is a bad man. Gary Russell is he a boogeyman. He's one of the most feared. I call the murderer's row of today the coincidental list. And Gary Russell is the murder row fighter of his division. Devin Haney is the murder row fighter for his division. But one thing for sure, I'm going to start calling Devin Haney the A boogeyman because he got all these fighters singing, oh, nah, 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 as soon as they see a damn contract. Because these fans, a lot of fans on social media, they speak emotionally, not factually. See, I report factually. I put my emotion aside and I speak logically by stating facts. So when the truth is spoken, the other side is nothing but a lie. So we already laid out every single truth when it came to the situation. Like I said before, the only excuses the fans are making that's bashing Devin Haney, they keep saying DAZN don't have money. We already debunked that. DAZN got the money. They said DAZN is not interested. We debunked that. DAZN interested. And matter of fact, like we said before, Eddie already came out with a report saying that they're looking at 2 names, Gamboa and Gary Russell. So it takes 2 to rumble. And Gary Russell has to be on board.
I think the question that you posed to me was like, why is Gary posturing or whatever, but he's not sending the contract back? And I was like, didn't he ask a question about the network and the rematch stuff?
Well, we covered all of that. That actually that it was the DAZN and MatchRoom is on their paperwork that was sent over. That was never a case that they weren't on there, and we're just waiting on him to sign and send it back. That's it. His brother agreed that everything was okay. And what I'm saying is, it was actually out of the 25 fights, it was the easiest one to draw the terms up, because he said the terms on. He said the money
on air,
on live. Then he said he wanted the terms. All these have to be the terms. He said it out to you guys. Now y'all acting stupid. Now you acting stupid like it's supposed to be something else. Why don't you just listen to what Gary said? You could write the shit over to me, and I'll send in a sign and send it back over. It's easy. MatchRoom know what they up against. DAZN know what they want. You even know what Gary wants. I know what Gary wants.
Yeah.
Intelligent caller, as if he didn't already hear what Gary wants already.
So what you have to say to that,
sir? Please, sir.
Yeah, so that's news to me that they were on a contract, right? So that's something that's
now,
like,
you can't go 951. I want a caller to come in and give you a challenge. I'm here to watch. I didn't want you undefeated on split decision. Would somebody come in and call right now and give AKHi the business and let me watch?
Okay, yes, sir. All right, let me work, because sometimes I be thinking they want to talk to you, but you already know it's split decision. But on split decision, it's always a KO. Call me the Devin Haney of split decision, because I'm the most feared when it comes to debating. But let me go ahead and work then. Watch me work. They're gonna get this work on some loaded Lux.
This Brian, man. I'm calling from Atlanta. I'm a Devin Haney fan.
Thank you, sir.
I'm a Gary Russell fan.
Thank you, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I respect the way Gary Russell moved as a man and what he represents. I respect the way Bill Haney moved and what he represents. I just want to say, man, Bill Haney, you got more game than EA Sports. I'm talking about more game than Matilda. You know what I mean? Hey, when it started out, when it started out, Bill started, and he shot a proposal out there to get money, which I can respect. You know what I mean? Yes. But the opportunity was for Gary Russell to get money too. Yeah. But Gary Russell wasn't going for it, so he went back to the drawing board. But his thought process was that DAZN and MatchRoom went on board with the fight, and that Bill Haney was pitching the fight to DAZN and to MatchRoom after the fact. And from my perspective, from what I'm seeing, from what he's saying, and from what everybody else saying, is that basically the man, once he saw that, he said, all right, well, let me check it out then. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But the ball at this point, once you find out that MatchRoom and DAZN is on board with it, the ball at this point is in Gary Russell court. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be no argument about
Since he called out Devin, there's no really backing out now, right?
No, he can either get in there or not, man. Listen, he don't got to fight. He just got to lead the DMV fans with us.
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I still got the wall. I still got the wall. I still got the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.